London.
World War II. Looks like £1,000-pounder.
I'll see you on the dance floor.
Could it blow any minute?
Theoretically, yes.
This area is being evacuated.
Is there anything out there?
There's nothing going on out here.
We're on.
It's ticking.
Clear! Hard cover! No! Go, go, go!
Mom, look at this. I shouldn't be there.
Active message. It appears there's been a massive bank job on Edgware Road.
Repeat, massive bank job.
We've just been working the sewer, boys. Got the stench to prove it. Get 70 up. What did you think was gonna happen?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm so happy to have with me here the brilliant director of several amazing movies we're going to discuss here, but including the brand new one, Fuze, one Mr. David Mackenzie. David, hello. Say hello to everybody.
Hi, guys. Thank you for listening. Whatever.
Yes, I got to tell you, you're one of the few directors who has the luxury of having two of your films in my top 10 over the last decade.
Wow, thank you very much. Wow.
Yes, you had one of my favorite films of last year with Relay, incredible, and number two in the year it came out was Hell or High Water. I'm a big fan of your work, and I thought that Fuse followed in line perfectly with your suspenseful and surprising perspective that you take as a director and the way you do things. Can you talk about why this Ben Hopkins script was the right one for you?
Well, it was my idea, and I asked Ben to write it. So it came about 15 years ago, and I just wanted to have a mashup of the tension of a heist movie and the tension of an unexploded bomb movie. And I thought they would, the sort of an experiment really in sort of in double tension, and that was kind of what the idea was. And Ben's a director friend of mine who I met on the festival circuit, and I wasn't, for some reason or other, I wasn't available or able to write the script, and so I asked Ben to do it, and he came up with what he did, and it went through a few iterations, and then then we made it.
And it fits perfectly into your forte. It felt like it was right in your wheelhouse. You do suspense so interestingly, and you talk about the double suspense here. This is very much the Hurt Locker meets Ocean's 11 in a way.
That's a
and you build on that tension so well. But it all starts with your actors. You have such an incredible cast here with Gugu Mbatha-Raw. You have Aaron Taylor Johnson, Theo James, Sam Worthington. How did you come about putting this cast of characters together, something that feels like the British Avengers?
That's very sweet. We're looking at it. Well, I mean, I've worked with Sam before on two things, and him and I are friends, and so that was an easy fit to try and get Sam in. Aaron, I worked with on my film Outlaw King, and I really enjoyed working with him. So I asked him when we were ready to go, and he responded. And then Theo and Gugu were British actors who are British actors who also work in America a lot, but who I've been sort of following and thinking about, and so we asked them, and then that sort of came together. I love the idea of you calling it like the British Avengers. That's very sweet.
Yeah, I mean, you're only missing like maybe a few other incredible British actors, maybe Tom Hiddleston or so, and then you can just put them all in an infinity gauntlet, and I guess it turns into a Union Jack or something. No, I'm a big fan of your work, and it's funny you directed him in my favorite of his performances, Sam Worthington, being in Relay. I thought he was incredible in that as well. I really
want to do something else with Sam that's kind of like more leading man stuff and slightly slightly less kind of hard nutty, something kind of it's just something the way you're not expecting Sam to do what he does. So watch out for that when eventually we get that together.
I'll be sitting on pins waiting for that because like I said, I love a lot of your films. Actually, I love your last like six films in a row. So great job. Startup, all of them. I just I go through your movies and I'm like, I know this is going to be quality because Mackenzie's behind it and this is going to be quality. I wanted to talk to you about the ending, but not the actual ending, the credits. You put a Clash song at there are over your credits. That had to have come from you.
Well, all of it comes from me. All of the music comes from everything comes from me. That's what directors do. But yeah, no, I wanted to somehow say to the audience that this is a cops and robbers movie, and although it's been very intense, because it is a very intense film, and you know, sometimes kind of tough film, you know what I mean? It was always supposed to be a ride, and ultimately, the film is a sort of cops and robbers film, and so taking the Clash cover of Junior Murvin's "Police and Thieves," which is absolutely great song from their first album. Putting it on the credits was just something that was a very kind of clear and immediate idea. I think even when I was shooting, to be honest, um, and uh, um, I was surprised that we were going to be able to get the song, but we were able to get the song, so that was fantastic. And the other music in the film is all it's all working with my composer friend who I've done four films with, Tony Dugan, and I had this idea that everything would be in the key of C and everything would be 120 beats a minute. So we have this incredible sort of high tension score, which should be kind of boring. If you said it's all in C and it's all 120 beats a minute, but it's not. It kind of it drives and builds tension and changes and modulates a lot. But it's all the idea is apart from the three needle drops, that there's a sort of UK kind of interesting mashup song at the beginning, and then there's a Mozart's Requiem in the middle, and then the Clash. It's all this sort of 120 beat a minute in the key of C.
As a guy who used to be in a band, I very much always appreciate a good needle drop, and I definitely get where you were saying with that score. It's a fantastic piece of music there that was produced there by Dugan. I really, it really gets underneath your skin as you're watching the movie, and it becomes part of your whole body as you experience it, and I think that's a good sign that you picked the right music for the film, and it really just works.
Right.
I really enjoyed the film. Uh, I gotta ask you because I ask everybody when I have them in front of me, whether they're a first-time director or someone like yourself who's I'll say seasoned, experienced, or if they're a screenwriter or Academy Award nominated actor, whoever it is. I always ask them the same two questions, and the first one's very simple, and it's, hey, who are some people that you look up to as a person or even as a working director?
I always find these questions really, really hard to answer, because you know, um, I don't even know whether I'm going to be able to give you an answer, to be honest.
That's
I mean, like, do you mean, I mean, if you're meaning people who are still alive, it does get a bit harder, but the people who like the American filmmakers that I really looked up to, people like Hal Ashby and you know uh, and Robert Altman and some of the other exponents of that sort of 70s scene, Don Siegel I really like. I think is really interesting. Um, and so so there's sort of there was a flowering in that period that was incredible. I'm mentioning a couple of names, but there's a whole wealth of people around there that really produce some amazing work that continues to resonate. We had a Brit in America, John Schlesinger, did Midnight Cowboy, which is kind of just a sort of combination of tension, and observation and soulfulness and real life. It's something that I just tune into as a human being, and I tune into as a consumer of movies, and so I'm not saying an individual. I'm saying the framework of whatever happened at the end of the 60s into the 70s. I mean, it also happened obviously in music as well, but it just there was something very beautiful there.
There was a revolution in American cinema. We've talked about it on our show before about the revolution of the 70s, especially in American cinema, and how unabashed they were in making films. Guys like Hal Ashby, just making whatever they felt like. And I love that you picked that. And the second you said all that, I started smiling, thinking he picked all these great American directors of the 70s, and there's just something to that. And I love that. That's a great. I see a little bit of that work and that influence in your work as well. That's what I love.
It's hard not to. It's hard not. And I don't like the idea of sort of aping other people. But it's hard. There's something. I'm always looking for that kind of poetic reality somehow. And I mean, the French do it. The Russian. I mean, there's a whole bunch of cinema as we know all out there. But that little, there's something about that zone we're talking about that really resonates for me.
Yeah, and I think that's what draws me to your films. I think that might be it. This second question's a little bit harder, and it might not be something you can actually answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. You only have two movies to watch for the rest of your life. What two would you pick and why?
Oh, she giving me that in advance.
I should have. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, okay, of my multiple favorite films, I felt there's a French film called La Talente, which I absolutely adore, which is made in the 30s. It was the only feature made by a director who died at age 29 of TB, and it's so resonant and so beautiful and so real and so lovely, and it was a big influence on my film Young Adam, which is sort of set on a barge in Glasgow. So I would have to say that, and I could watch that again and again and again. It's old cinema, and it's absolutely incredible. Um, and oh, I don't know who uh it's interesting because I would say something like I mean okay and the other one I watch and watch and watch and watch is Andrei Rublev.
Oh,
Tarkov.
good pick.
Which again I think kind of keeps. I mean, it's brutal in places, but it's got some incredible poetry. Uh, yeah, it's filmmaking on an extraordinary scale, and it takes you on an extraordinary journey, and I've seen it many times, and it's a gift that keeps on giving. You know what I mean? Some films you sort of know once you've seen them 3 times, you go, okay, I get the game now. With that film, I think there's something to get from it every time.
I think that's true of a lot of Tarkovsky's work. So I love that you picked a Tarkovsky film. It's such a director pick. I love it
I
though.
mean, some people find Tarkovsky boring. I know plenty of people who do, but I think Andrei Rublev is a film that transcends some of the kind of the longueurs and all those things which I've always found interesting anyway. But some people go, oh God, just fucking hurry up. But but Rublev is something that's in a realm of its own. I think.
I love it. I love it. Now, I'm going to let you go here now, but before I do, is there anything you want to give people about this film and why they should check it out? Because it's available to watch now in several different countries, and it's going to be continuing to roll out all the way through like August, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd love audiences to watch the film. It was designed to be something that was kind of entertaining, very pure cinema, not challenging in terms of messing with your head too much, but it's definitely something that unfolds and goes on a journey, and it's designed to be enjoyed. That's what I kind of keep saying to people is I've made quite a lot of serious films, but this is a film that's designed to be enjoyed as a fairly pure kind of heist style thriller mashup movie, and that's what I want people to get from it if they can.
I found it to be a bomb movie with a live wire, and that's why I write. No, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for joining me here today, David. I really appreciate you. Have an amazing rest of your day. And again, I'm looking forward to whatever project you decide to do next because I'll be waiting for it.
Thank you, man, and thank you for all the very nice things you said about my films. I'm so grateful, and really appreciate you seeing them and putting the word out. So thanks a lot.
Honestly, we're grateful to have guys like you who are unafraid to make whatever the hell they want. You know what I mean? It's so rare.
I'm gonna keep on trying to do that if I can, please.
Have a great one, David.
And you, man.